In 1789, Benjamin Franklin wrote that in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes. While it's debatable for taxes if you're a billionaire, nobody escapes death. But the timing varies spectacularly between species. While mayflies only live for a day, some trees like the bristlecone pine can live for over 4,000 years. This guy, the Methuselah tree, is thought to be the oldest living non-clonal organism and is estimated to be 4,853 years old. It was already old when the first Great Pyramids were erected and when the last woolly mammoth died due to climate change. Legend has it that that tree may even be older than Noam Chomsky. As for us Homo sapiens sapiens, we have a relatively long lifespan compared to other life forms. For most of our history, average life expectancy was stable at slightly below 30 years, with of course regional and temporal variations. That is, until the 19th century. Then, a remarkable health transition happened. Global life expectancy started rising rapidly. It went from 29 years in 1800 to 46 in 1950 to over 72 nowadays. While improvements have been spread unequally, every single region on Earth has seen massive improvements in life expectancy. Perhaps counterintuitively, most of that progress doesn't come from making the already old live longer. Instead, it has more to do with preventing people from dying at a young age, or more accurately, to reduce child mortality. Indeed, the youngs are the most vulnerable members in any society, and throughout history, more than 1 in 4 babies didn't survive their first year of life, and nearly 1 in 2 children didn't make it to 15. Most of them died from now largely preventable ailments such as diarrheal diseases, lower respiratory infection, malaria, and various neonatal problems. Let's flash forward. In 200 years, child mortality went from this, to this, to this. In the last 20 years alone, global child mortality was cut in half. Nowadays, 96% of children will live to blow their 5th candle. In wealthy countries like Canada, over 99.5% of babies will make it to age 5. Lower child mortality isn't the only driver behind increasing human life expectancy though. As you can see in this chart, life expectancy improvements have been massive even when child mortality is excluded. All that is largely thanks to better standards of living, scientific and medical innovations, modern sanitation, and access to a decent healthcare system. And it is quite likely that global life expectancy is going to keep improving, despite occasional and temporary declines like the ones we're seeing right now with COVID. As long as the rest of the world doesn't follow the United States' footsteps when it comes to smoking, obesity, homicides, opioid overdoses, road accidents, and overall treating universal healthcare not as a human right, but rather as a wicked opportunity to prey on the poor for profit. Way too many people pass away from totally preventable causes such as suicide, road accidents, and drug overdoses. Those are all in the top 5 of the leading causes of death in people in their prime years. As a result, better access to mental health services and better road safety policies could prevent more premature death than anything else you can possibly imagine. Thankfully, most of the gains in life expectancy in recent decades are quote-unquote healthy years rather than disability-filled ones. All in all, most people watching this video can expect to live well into their 80s and to be reasonably healthy for most of their time on Earth. But those are only statistics. As cliché as it sounds, life is short and fragile. You may well become a centenarian or not make it to the next year. There's very little we can do about this, except enjoy the ride while it lasts. Acceptance of death may be one of the greatest blessings to help us live a more meaningful life. So in the words of Kerouac, because in the end, you won't remember the time you spent working in the office or mowing the lawn. Climb that goddamn mountain. Alright, that's it for today. If you learned anything, type it down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider doing like this charming lady and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time.